Hello and welcome to MTG Profits. This is episode 33, and I am your host, Devin, as always joined by my co-host, Andy.
Hey, everybody.
And this is a podcast where we discuss all things magic with a special attention to the financial aspects of magic. And just to reiterate, feel free to check out our content on the website at mtgprofits.com. If YouTube is your jam, go right ahead and check out the YouTube at MTG Profits there. And, of course, you can always just listen to our podcasts here and enjoy our content in that way.
Sure. I don't know. Did you say check out the site, mtgprofits.com?
I did.
Okay.
So
here it is again. Check it out. Twice as much.
Exactly. That's right. You can check it out more than one time. There are no limits. It is free to visit.
Free.
You can't beat free. So
nothing is free.
So this week it's not been a very busy news week, at least not as far as I can tell. The world's
pretty quiet overall.
Yeah, think so. I don't have any particular news items other than I've got some sort of weird beeping in my house here. And I'm not sure. I actually have to investigate this one. I'll be right back. Andy, shoot your news item. I'll be right with you.
Well, this is awkward. All right. Well, Devin takes care of his random house beeping. I'll chat some news here. I just saw a story just today, actually, about a new effort by Wizards. And this is, I guess, about some new merchandise that Wizards is pushing here. They have some new LGBTQ merchandise that they're just putting out now, and it's a couple different items. Are you back?
I am. It was some kind of smoke alarm problem. It was really insistent, and I'm not exactly sure. Right when I got out to it, it stopped doing whatever it was doing, but it was giving the full-fledged alarm. So I'm not sure, and it was an odd thing.
As we said before, all things magic.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it was a big news. It was heralding your news items. So.
It must have been. That was.
It could sense the power of your message, and it decided.
Apparently, it was such a important item that it was setting off alarms.
Goodness.
But as I was just saying, there was a new story just saw today actually about Wizards of the Coast, and they're just releasing some new LGBTQ merchandise.
Really?
Yeah. So they have. There's a couple of different things. I think it's primarily T-shirts, but let's see. They have some other things like bags and stickers and a water bottle and a couple other things here, hats. It's not too varied as far as the designs. There's only really two designs. One is the Planeswalker symbol, if you're familiar with that. It kind of looks like a fork.
Yeah.
And the other one is the classic Dungeons and Dragons symbol with the dungeon with the dragon. It kind of looks in the shape of an ampersand, basically. And both of those are all rainbow colored.
Okay. I was wondering in what form do these items come in. So I guess that would be just the Rainbow Coalition flag.
Exactly. So, for example, the shirt, it's just a plain black T-shirt with that symbol on it. Either one of the symbols.
Such an odd thing for them to market. It's a weird thing for them to be. I understand they're like, we want to promote inclusivity, but it's a strange thing to specifically cater in such a fashion. It almost seems almost insulting to the LGBTQ community. But,
yeah, I mean, I know they've keep pushing for that and kind of press their tolerance and support of people of all kind of backgrounds, but
Yeah, that's interesting.
Inclusivity and even going so far as some of the cards and characters are gay or whatever.
I wonder how much of their
non-binary,
audience is really interested in such things. It's an odd thing. It's like they've always been pushing, or at least lately, I should say, they've been sort of pushing. It's almost agenda driven, as if the agenda will drive sales and promotion of the product, when all they have to do is make a good product and people will enjoy it. Of all types, it's like you don't have to have special gay stuff for gay people to enjoy the cards. It's like
exactly.
It's like I've got a good friend and he's always said that as a gay person, he's always found that it's somewhat condescending when people placate to his sort of quote unquote gayness, and he's always found that it's problematic when they trot out like a token thing and try to use that as their, I guess, their main selling point.
Yeah.
So, but you know what? Maybe that's a minority view. I don't. I'm not exactly sure, and I'm not sure how that's taken. Speaking from a relatively non-minority community, maybe I guess it is helpful, to see there's someone like me depicted in the cards. But I think they've always done a relatively good job, at least of depicting sort of, maybe not necessarily LGBTQ type characters, but they've always had black characters and woman characters,
sure,
all the way back, going all the way back to Mirage and stuff. It was it wasn't always just the strict fantasy tropes. It was they've always done a relatively good job, and it seems like when they try to push to show, look how woke we are, look at what a good job we're doing, and we're including all people, it almost seems forced and artificial. And I wonder, what their end goal with that is. Yeah, I think they should focus more on things like card quality and gameplay mechanics, things that people care about. Not a forced awakening, so to speak, of LGBTQIA. Promotion.
I agree. It does. It just has kind of a weird feel to it, I guess. It seems that they're specifically calling this out, and it's just, I don't know.
It's like a forced
it
thing.
It feels a little forced to kind of do some of this stuff and specifically set up characters with these kind of backgrounds and all of this, and that's I don't know.
I think it probably generates some buzz for them initially. I think maybe that's why they do it. It generates a little bit of buzz. People start talking about it, whether good or bad. People are probably like, "Oh, did you hear about this?" Blah 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 blah, and then all of a sudden maybe people start paying attention. But I don't think it's going to actually help their end goal of improving sales. I think if they just improve the game quality, improve the card quality, and just try to make a fantastic game, I think if you make a good game, people will come.
Absolutely.
They should
I
focus
totally agree
on the game. They shouldn't be worried about what people are doing in their private lives. They shouldn't be worrying about what people are spending their money on or doing their things other than buying cards.
Like this.
Yeah. It's an odd thing. It's like if you want to run a business, you want to sell your cards. If I'm Wizards of the Coast, I want to sell my cards to the most amount of people possible. I don't care anything about their political leanings. I don't care about their sexual orientation. You do you. You do whatever you want. It's your personal private time.
Yeah.
It's like all they need to do is make a good product and let it be for everyone.
I agree. I agree. I think that would be a better approach than trying to target certain groups with, I don't know, special promotions or kind of calling them out. I think, that seems like you said, kind of a way to get a little publicity, like a little publicity hit.
Yeah. Let's trot out the token whatever. This time it'll be this time it'll be the bi character. Next time it'll be the trans character. Let's trot out because they've already, trotted out, other, it's like, oh, we're going to have female Captain Pirates. Well, big deal.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, exactly. I think, like you said, concentrate on your product. Make the best cards you can, get the best artwork, get the best card stock, make a good card game, and then the rest will just follow.
I really find that they lose their way when they lose that focus, and it's kind of a shame. They're so busy focused on maybe the wrong things.
Yeah.
I mean, how many years have we've been waiting for good card stock? Years and years and years. I mean, my goodness. Like, why was the card stock better in the 90s than it is now? That should not be.
Yeah, and I guess to play devil's advocate, how utterly easy is it to make a T-shirt by just licensing your symbol and changing a couple colors, and maybe sending a couple emails or putting up some notes on a website versus actually, like you said, changing card stock or actually doing
improving your product,
real changes, so to speak.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I guess the easy way is sometimes and then you wonder too what goes on in the back room, so to speak, because for all we know, they're having turnover at higher levels or semi-management positions, and every time in any kind of corporate situation, whenever you have any kind of turnover with any kind of honcho type character, they have to do something to make it look like that their arrival heralds something special.
I'm doing something here.
I'm doing something different that hasn't been done before. Therefore, when we see a sales uptick, I can claim credit. Because if I don't do anything different than the last guy, I won't be able to claim credit for that. So you wonder about that sort of thing. So I see it all the time whenever I see any kind of management change. All of a sudden, you'll be like, oh, they'll change some metric that they're tracking, or they'll push some sort of other tiny agenda piece, and then they'll be able to take credit for, relatively random improvement in, product sales or such.
Sure.
So maybe there's some of that going on, and you have some bean counter somewhere that has to come up with an idea, and his idea just so happens to be, let's trot out some alternative lifestyle bonus stuff and bring everyone's attention.
Exactly. And, it's kind of something that's in the news, and it's becoming more and more of a focal point, I guess. And so, we better make sure we address it and get out in front of it.
Which, again, it's fine. Like, everybody should be able to do whatever the hell they want. It's just like, I don't know. I think it's weird when companies and, governments and what have you just intrude on private lives in any way, shape, or form. I find it distasteful. So.
Yeah. And I think we're both of the mindset, full support on doing whatever you want in your lifestyle. That's great.
Absolutely.
Do you.
Yeah.
When we throw the corporate mothership into the mix here, I don't know.
Strange.
Yeah, agreed.
But,
So did you have any other news items?
Not really. I guess I've been paying some attention to the sealed product box prices as per usual, and they've been climbing. And I don't know. I know you've sold some stuff, and I've sold some stuff lately, and it might be worth mentioning to some of the listeners that I guess it was the Conspiracy 2 boxes we've been selling since last week, and I think between the two of us, we've sold, I think, three of those things, and generated a nice, healthy $190 for those. And the trend seems to be going up, so maybe we will have found in 3 months that we sold too soon. It's possible.
Yeah.
We'll have to see. The trend apparently is upward on that. So the next thing I'm targeting for sale is the Battle Bond. So we'll see. I'm going to see if I can wait for that to crest or approach 200, and I'll start to unload those as well. So box prices have been moving up across the board. So I'm not sure why that is. It's been healthy and sustained. So seems like box prices have been creeping up, and that's for almost most expansions. So I
That's
don't know if
good.
you noticed, even like Eldritch Moon and Shadows over Innistrad, those boxes are creeping up. Even Rise of the Eldrazi and Oath of the Gatewatch, all these boxes have been creeping up. The Ixalan boxes are cresting 100 already, and they just recently went out of print. The Dominaria boxes had the surprise discontinuation of printing, and they're in the 120s, 130s, I think, already. So,
Okay.
so box prices are very healthy. They are healthier than I can remember in recent memory.
Wow, that's great.
They are better than they have been since 2012. So we see a rising tide that is lifting all ships here.
So what out of of all these rising prices, are there any that you would say go ahead and sell now? You mentioned we said conspiracy too.
Yeah.
Anything else?
It really just depends on your purchase price, realistically, and what you're after. As with all things when you're buying and selling, your entry point and your exit point really are what matters. So I think realistically, it's a personal preference, but I am paying attention as well to any of the specialty products. The not super recent masters, the Eternal Masters and the other modern masters, not the Masters 25, but those have been climbing steadily and rapidly. The Eternal Masters, I want to say, cresting 400 now.
Oh, wow.
And I remember those were being garbage fire sold for 170. I think I bought couple of boxes. I bought at 223 and I bought at 172, 173. I wish I held on to them. I've already sold them, but now they're the cheapest ones are I want to say 400. So,
oh wow.
I think there is an upper limit to those boxes, and I think we are approaching it. So,
okay.
450 I think is probably as high as they're going to go for a little bit. Especially since the advent of things like Eternal or Ultimate Masters, I think that'll put a little bit of a cap on on boxes like the Eternal Masters and things. But so yeah, my high sell my fire sale or sell immediately would be any Eternals Masters boxes or like Masters 2015 boxes. If you can get in the 400s for those, I would definitely sell. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think there's a little bit of a cap on that, and I think we're rapidly approaching it. So, but yeah. So that's what's going on in the sealed world. Prices are climbing. Also, there's additionally the new Challenger decks. They're only going to have one re-release wave, and that's coming soon. And the first wave has already been distributed and sold, and the second wave is rapidly approaching, and then that's going to be it for that. So Wizards is going to turn off the spigot. There will be no more reprintings of Challenger Decks Volume 2. There were effectively 5 reprintings of those products, 4 to 5, so in the first round. So it destroyed the prices, and just now are those prices starting to recover. So I would expect a relatively rapid bottoming of the 2019 Challenger decks with a much more rapid rise in price appreciation of those products, even though the products are not as good. So even though they're not as good a product and the cards are not as good and they're about to rotate, I think you will see a little bit of a bottoming and then a quick rebound.
Quicker rebound. Okay, interesting.
Supply will dry up much faster. That's the difference.
Yeah.
So I think that's not a bad buy and hold either. I may look into that myself. So
you're saying buy and hold for the Challenger decks?
Correct. Yep. The Volume 2, the 2019 Challenger decks.
The ones that just came out a week ago?
The ones that just dropped, yep.
Okay.
Yeah, their first round is already gobbled up. So most of those have been purchased, allocated, and distributed. So the market has soaked them up, and round 2 is about to hit. And then that's going to be it. So
nice.
Yep, that's it in the sealed world. So I haven't been paying as good attention as I should to prices in Modern for single cards. I have been paying a little bit of attention to the upcoming War of the Spark. I've been sort of looking at that and trying to figure out what are my picks for that and what do I think
Yes.
is, what's going on there. And I don't know if you've taken a look at those yet.
I have done. I've done that as well, and I've kind of have a list of what I think are, I guess, the hot stuff.
Great. I've got a relatively short list. I have basically three picks that I'm going to pay close attention to, and one of them is super obvious, but it's all going to be about the entry point price, and the others are maybe not as sure a bet, but I think give a lot easier entry point. So, did you want to go over a few picks of that?
Sure. Yeah, I guess just to set the stage a little bit too. So, Word of the Spark is well underway. Most of the previews are we've seen a lot of previews so far. Then I think they're probably basically wrapping up at this point, since the pre-release is already going to be next weekend, the weekend of the 27th, 28th. So we've seen a lot of cards. We've seen a lot of the story so far. And I think as we've always seen, we see pre-sale prices for these things, and they're high. They're always very high. And then as soon as the set drops, all the prices drop too.
Yeah.
So that's why we say, never buy at these pre-sale prices and pre-order these things. Wait until it actually drops, and then buy.
Yeah, that's fantastic advice. Never pre-sale purchase. It's very, very hard to pick the winners.
So that's always a warning for here. So it's very hard to pick the winners for that. We're the wieners. And but we're going to try to do that for you. We're going to try to pick some winners here and take a look at what we expect. This is kind of our prognostication here into the future. What we can think here that will actually rise in price and be worth your purchasing.
We'll also revisit this too at a later date after the cards have been released.
After things have settled down and released, we'll take a look back and see, did it actually rise in price? Did it go over what its pre-sale prices were, or did it just tank and disappear?
Yeah. I'd be curious to see. The pre-sale pricing is a tough beast to tame. So
it is very difficult to tell.
Yeah, we'll see. I do have these cards. I feel are so good that I would love to have them anyway. So I wouldn't mind having these long term. I feel these cards have a lot of room to run, and if somebody finds a way to make them work in standard, they'll run up pretty quick. I wonder if we have any overlaps. I've got.
I don't know. I was curious. I was going to share it with you, but then I was like, well, you know what? Let's just let it roll and see if we cross paths on any of these.
Yeah. My number one pick, if I had to pick one card that I think has a very good chance of going up, and one card that I want to purchase a lot of, as much as I can get my hands on, is the Saheeli Sublime Artificer. Oh. And she is a 3 mana, and she's the combination mana. I forget what the hybrid mana.
Yeah.
So she's a 1 colorless or 1 void mana, as they say, and a blue-red or another blue-red. So her converted mana cost is 3, and she requires 2 colors. So it's either red or blue and a colorless.
Okay.
And she comes with 5 loyalty counters, so she's pretty nice. She's born with 5 loyalty. And for 3 mana, it's a pretty good deal. Her enchantment ability is whenever you cast a non-creature spell, create a 1/1 servo artifact token.
Yep.
And her planeswalker ability is -2, and it says target artifact you control becomes a copy of another artifact or creature you control until end of turn, except it is an artifact. So this card is banging for any of these artifact things. Like anytime you've got these big artifact decks, wonderful. Yep. This card essentially allows you to produce artifacts and allows you to turn those artifacts into other artifacts, so you can have your best artifacts floating around. And this card, I love it. I am going to slot this thing right into my artifact production decks right away. So I'm loving it. So If I could get these for around $1, boy, I'm picking up as many as I can get. So it's uncommon too. So I should throw that in.
Yeah, really good, really
Yeah.
good. And I think also to qualify, and I don't know if you did the same here, Dev, but try to pick cards that are low in value to begin with. I think we could say something like, oh, let me see, what's the highest one so far? I don't
2
know.
out of 30 are low cost picks that you could pick up a lot of. One of them is a higher cost one. It's going to be one that keep an eye on kind of thing. So, but yeah, generally speaking, I'm not usually looking for cards that are $12 and up. As an investment target, I want to try to buy low and sell higher. That's
exactly. I'm definitely going to aim for because it would be easy for us to say, oh, buy as many Tezzeret's and as many Nicole Boluses as you can.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, I feel that's kind of a no-brainer, but
and honestly, I think it almost sets you up for a bad downfall too, because watch you snatch up a bunch and then watch the price plummet like 35%, and all of a sudden you can never recoup that. So, the cards I'm looking at have relatively little room to move down.
Yeah, agreed.
So that's my first pick. What have you got?
It was tough kind of picking through and deciding where to go with this, but one of the ones I thought that was very interesting, and let's see if I can make sure I call the right thing here, pronounce his name correctly, is
oh no, is it the homunculus?
We'll see, but no, the one that I'm picking here is Tomic, the Distinguished Advocist.
Ooh, I'm not as familiar with that one.
He's a legendary creature. He's not a planeswalker. He's 2 white mana. He's a 2/3 flyer for 2 white, which is not bad. But his abilities are kind of unique, I feel. Like, it says lands on the battlefield and land cards in your graveyards can't be targets of spells or abilities your opponents control. Your opponents can't play land cards from graveyards.
Oh wow!
And I'm sure there's a lot you could do with this, or maybe this is just as a sideboard kind of card. I just felt that this is an interesting card for its abilities. I can't really think of any other cards that are quite like that.
I like those sort of weird, unusual, lands you have hexproof kind of things, because we don't see that a lot, We have seen it, but it's there's a white one that does something like that, but they are few and far between. I think it is a good sideboard card too, if you've got a guy that's doing shenanigans in his graveyard with Crucible of Worlds or Life from the Loam, things of that nature. So
yeah, exactly. I think that's that's always kind of the thing too, that these kind of weird, unusual cards, these outliers, whether it's, an older kind of card that's now with ability that's now in a creature or something.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think you can go wrong there.
And he's right now, the pre-sale, pre-release price here is $1 for him.
Okay,
so
not bad.
I think he can definitely do better than $1. I could see nice. $2 for him.
Oh, that's great.
But we'll see.
Keep tabs. Yeah. So that's one of your. Is that would you say that's your highest? I guess confidence pick. Would you say that's your number one?
No, I don't think it's my highest one. But it's in there. I feel most of these are about the same level, but my last one is probably one that I feel extra special about.
I hear you.
It gives me a warm feeling.
A warm feeling in your
in a little
special areas. But I have Vasahili Sublime Artificer is definitely my top pick. I think if I'm going to buy one to load up on, that's going to be the one. Yeah. My second pick is actually one of these wonderful utility cards, which I've been loving these lately, and it's Angrath's Rampage.
Okay.
This is another uncommon. It's a black and a red. The only thing I don't like about it is that it's sorcery speed, but it's one of these choose one, and it's target player sacrifices an artifact, or target player sacrifices a creature, or target player sacrifices a planeswalker. So, it's for 2 mana, uncommon once again, and this is another uncommon. They may not have a whole lot of planeswalkers in play. So you dropping this card is going to make them sacrifice their only planeswalker.
Yeah.
So, or, you got a troublesome creature, boom, sack the creature. Oh, artifact, boom, sack the artifact. So, artifact, creature, or planeswalker for 2 mana, tons of utility, tons of value, just wonderful. I love the utility that these cards provide. And
utility.
Yeah, this card, I think pre-sale pricing is about 50 cents. So can't beat that. I think this card will see some play. So that's my second pick for.
I think it's good. Yeah, it's very low casting cost with a lot of utility.
Absolutely.
I think any of these things that are option cards are great picks.
I really love these. I love playing them in my decks, and I love pulling them in my drafts. I just find them so useful. So.
Yeah, I like it.
So what's your second
Let's
pick?
See.
Here?
My second pick. Actually, you know what? I'll go with what we said. So the second pick I did have on my list, as you kind of hinted at, is Flips. The law.
Oh, Flub or whatever.
Flips?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Flibblethip.
Flibblethip? I'm not sure exactly his correct pronunciation.
I wanted to pick this guy. He was close to making my yeah. Flibblethip.
I picked him mainly for a couple reasons. A, because of his flavor as a character. He's kind of shown up in a couple different places, and I think there's a little bit of maybe a fan favorite for the character.
I like
to have him in the card form is kind of fun. And also he's kind of got some unique abilities, which seems to me there's probably a way that you can manipulate to draw a lot of cards.
Yeah.
He's basically kind of a little card drawing homunculus, where when he enters, you draw a card. If he came from your library, you draw 2 cards, or if he was cast from your library. And if he becomes targeted, he just disappears back into your library. It seems like there's got to be some ways to abuse that.
Yeah. I like that also he's legendary, so that the legendary creatures that matter,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's kind of a fun thing, too. You could kind of explore that. But I like it. I like it. He's only 2 mana as well. So, worst case scenario, you're like, okay, I drop 2 mana, 1/1, draw a card. That's
exactly.
That's value right there.
Draw a card. Yeah.
Absolutely. So can't go wrong with that. And you're right. If you find a way to cast him while you're digging, and the more the merrier. I can't think of too many off the top of my head that allow for that, but I still like it.
If it entered from your library, it was cast from your library. There's a bunch of red cards, especially
that allow you to
look
play.
At the top card. If you want to cast it, go ahead. Basically.
Yeah.
Maybe something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, kind of neat.
Yeah. So
very good.
He's fun, and he's cheap. He's only pre-release price here about $1. So
nice. I think he might dip. So I think he might be one to watch and then pick up. So we'll see. I could see him going to 50 cents and then start climbing.
Yeah, exactly.
Really, I guess it just depends on if somebody finds a use for them. But I guess that's true for all these cards, which is also why they're hard to evaluate price-wise, too. So
yeah.
But very good. My third and final choice is one of these semi no-brainer ones, but
okay.
It's definitely a power card, and it's up there. It's already $14.50, and it's the Liliana Dreadhorde General.
Oh yeah.
So I think she's probably the real deal here. Her enchantment ability says whenever a creature you control dies, draw a card. Now, the nice thing about that is it does not exclude tokens. Whenever a creature you control dies, draw a card. So that right off the bat is just like screaming, like, abuse me. I'm ready for it.
Oh, absolutely.
And she's 6 mana. She's a 6 loyalty planeswalker. Her +1 ability says create up to 2 black zombie tokens, so she can protect herself a little bit. Her -4 ability is each player sacrifices 2 creatures. So that's some nice, that's some nice protection right there. You drop her,
Yeah.
So, I mean, imagine this for the sake of argument. The enemy's got a little bit of a board presence, so you drop her, you sacrifice 2 creatures, they sacrifice 2 creatures, but you also drew 2 cards in the process. Because your sacrificing of your own creatures allowed you to draw cards from her enchantment ability. So, I think this is the real deal. This is gonna do well. And her -9 is, each opponent chooses a permanent they control of each permanent type and sacrifices the rest. So it's one of those choose your favorite and everything else dies. But this, to me, is all about the enchantment ability. When the creature dies, you draw a card, creating zombie tokens. And, I love that when she drops, she can wipe 2 critters right off the bat.
That's really good.
So I think this one, even though it's $14, this one, I could see this one going into the mid-20s. This could be one that spikes off, and it's hard to know when to buy these, and they're so pricey because it is hard to pull the trigger on this. But
yeah, agreed.
But I do think she could be like the, sort of like the Teferi or what's that little colorless artifact guy, the golem, Urza's buddy.
Karn,
thank you. Yeah, it could be like another Karn or another,
and
not as good as Teferi, but I don't see this getting to Teferi's price point either. The other thing too that I think is important to note, I think these boxes will be opened in such massive, monstrous quantity that it'll suppress the prices more so than we've seen in some of the other more recent sets. I think this is going to be opened 3 times more than Domino.
I would agree with that. There's so much desire for this. These planeswalkers and this set. It's going to be open to the max.
Yeah, I think this is going to be like a Khans of Tarkir revisited. I don't know if you remember with Khans of Tarkir and the allied fetches, so many of those boxes were open. Those boxes were opened to the extreme, and even cards that were very good played as 4-ofs in decks that were played in standard. Those rares never climbed over 50 cents, like the Mantis Riders and the Siege Rhinos and stuff. And these cards were played as 4-ofs. I don't know if you remember what a problem that Siege Rhino was. But
I remember the Siege Rhino.
That thing was in every deck because mana was so multicolored. Mana was so easy, and you could get 3 colors no problem. And that Siege Rhino was in every deck, 4-ofs, because he was so efficient. Even that thing never got over $2, and it was in every single deck. So I think we're going to see a similar price suppression with this set. That the sheer volume of the cards going to be available on the market will suppress prices, which again is why pre-release pricing should be avoided if at all possible.
Absolutely.
So I don't think this Dreadhorde General will get to levels of Karn or Teferi. I don't think she's quite as good as Teferi anyway.
No.
But she'll. I think of useful cards, she's really up there. I could see her getting used a lot. So I don't know if she would get more than 20, but I could see her getting into the 20s. So I'll keep an eye on it and sort of watch that one.
Yeah, she is definitely something to keep an eye on.
Yeah. So what's your third and final here?
Well, I actually have a couple bonus ones. I'll throw those in quick. But the one other one that I had to add in, there's already been a lot of discussion I think on this one, is our favorite. We got to keep with goblins here. So it was Krenko, the 10th Street Kingpin.
That's right.
I think there's always been love for goblins. They've always been a big clan. That was one reason for picking him. He's also fairly cheap. He's only around $1, so it's pretty reasonable. And I think he's another one that's going to be, easily abused. And he's only going to make the goblins stronger here. So whenever he attacks, put +1/+1 counter on it. Then create a number of 1/1 goblin tokens equal to his power.
Yeah, I like this. This is fun. This is fun for like any casual player. This is like, ooh, this is so tasty.
Well, that's really tasty.
Yeah.
I think maybe the old Krenko was a little more powerful, but this one's pretty good too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So goblins have always been popular, and I'm sure he's not going to be an exception.
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
Yeah, the Krenko mob boss from before was, man, he was tapped to create X11 goblins, where X is the number of goblins you control.
Yeah, that sucker would just get out of control pretty quick.
He has to be killed or else. I mean,
was he a dual deck? Where did he come from? Or was he
He wasn't he originally an M? He was in the dual decks. Merfolk versus Goblins, but I thought he was originally a M13. Yeah, M13.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh gosh, yeah.
So I think Krenko is definitely going to go. I could see him, maybe $1.50, $2. It's not going to go super high, but he'll definitely go up.
Yeah, I think so. It's got casual appeal written all over it.
Yeah, he's going to do well.
Yeah.
A couple other just really quick ones here that I really thought were great and undervalued. Role Reversal, which is a rare. It's a blue rare. Currently about 50 cents or so. And the reason I like this is it just seems so much potential with this. 2 blues and a red. Sorcery, rare. Exchange control of 2 target permanents that share a permanent type.
Oh, like a donate sort of effect.
Yeah. So you obviously you exchange the best thing that you have or the worst thing that you have with the best thing somebody else has.
Yeah, neat.
So wow, I'll trade my Ornithopter for your Soul Ring or whatever. You could go or your Blightsteel Colossus. I mean,
yeah. For 3 mana, this seems like a pretty good deal.
3 mana. I mean, you can shift the game entirely.
Yeah, this is really, I think, pretty fun in a limited as well. This could, you take their best creature and give them one of your garbage ones.
Yeah. And that's not even just creatures. I mean, this could be land, it could be artifacts, it could be enchantments, whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I don't know. I think it's
pretty good.
Huge potential.
Yeah, pretty good.
And 2 other really quick ones here. The Wanderer as a new planeswalker. Man, that seems really good. And
this is the damage preventer?
The damage preventer. For 3 colorless, 1 white. Prevent all non-combat damage that would be dealt to you and other permanents you control. And that's the static ability. For -2, exile target creature with power 4 or greater. And starts with 5 loyalty counters.
Yeah, this is a juicy one. This one almost made my list. I was like, ooh boy. Because I love the damage prevention.
Yeah, just that alone, that static ability is awesome.
It is. It's really good.
Oh, guess what? Oh, I'm gonna shock your wizard. No, you're not.
Yeah, this is a good one. I love that this is only an uncommon too. I really like this a lot.
It's very good.
Yeah. Yeah, very good. Very good.
And really quick, you asked, which one did I think was, kind of at the top of my list or something extra good. This one really caught my eye just because it just seems like a really great value. And that's the Pledge of Unity. It's 1 colorless, 1 green, 1 white. It's an instant, and I pay special attention to the instant part. Put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Gain 1 life for each creature you control.
Oh, wow. That's only uncommon, too. Wow.
Only uncommon. It's hovering now around 25 cents.
Wow, that seems pretty good.
That seems really good to me.
This one totally made it under my radar. I didn't even see this one. I must have saw the colors and thought, weak, pass.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe what really caught me was the instant part on that, and
and
all creatures that you control, and a life. That's so much benefit at instant speed. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, this looks pretty nice. I gotta say, this looks fun. This is casual play written all over it.
Oh, absolutely. It reminds me of, what was it from? Gosh, it was a couple sets ago where I think a Johnny was on it, and it was, I want to say it was only like 2 mana. All your permanents get hexproof and indestructible, I think it was.
Is that one of those commands, Dramoka's command or something like that?
No, it's not a command. It was from Unfortable Will or something.
Okay.
And, that was like under the radar. I remember when it came out was Indomitable Will, maybe. And then it went huge. It went from like a 50-cent card to like a $5 card or $4 card.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, well, why didn't I think of this earlier? This card is awesome.
Yeah, this looks pretty fun. This looks fun. Yeah. Again, these cards are uncommon, so these are these are available for the masses. You don't have to be rich to be playing these fun cards.
Exactly.
So, go out and have some fun. It's not all about the money, but the money is nice.
Yeah.
So I really like a lot of these choices. I like how they're not all rares and mythic rares this time around.
Exactly. I don't think you have to, as we've seen, a lot of uncommons have rose in price, and hopefully we'll see that again.
Absolutely.
So I guess to sum up, Devin, your picks were Saheeli, the Sublime Artificer.
Correct.
Angrath's Rampage, and Liliana, the Dreadhorde General.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And I was looking at Tomek, the Distinguished Advocist, Flips, the Lost, or Philps, the Lost, or Flips, however you want to pronounce it.
Flibbles, I think.
Flibbles. Krenko, the 10th Street Kingpin, Role Reversal, the Wanderer, and as a special pick, Pledge of Unity. So we'll mark these down in the prices right now, and then we'll revisit them after the launch and see how they do.
Very good.
So, all right.
That'll do it for the
keep
week.
an eye on it. We'll have more War of the Spark discussion and picks and other stuff next week as we're coming into the launch, and exciting time.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be fun.
Yeah, it'll be a good set.
Yeah. Excellent.
All right. So with that, as always, may your picks always be profitable. Thanks for joining us. We'll catch you again next time.
See you then.
Bye.